Just when you thought I couldn't get any more pink, I get these freaking giant monster Elton John glasses. And of course, they are pink. Today, I wanted to talk about a pretty controversial topic. And I have a lot to say on the topic, and you can probably anticipate additional videos on this topic. But today, I wanted to talk about the problem that I see in our field with dietitians nonstop complaining. And I know it is going to be a controversial video, but I have a lot to say and I want to get to it. And there is a silver lining. There's a reason for this video. It's not to complain about dietitians complaining, it's to give you some perspective. So, as we know, dietitians love to complain, some of us more than others, but for whatever reason, whether it be our windy academic path, our perceived lack of respect as a profession, or our less than stellar pay, dietitians love to get into the role of playing the role of the victim. Like I said, and when I say they love playing the role of the victim, some of them I wonder if that is their full-time job. So it's almost as dietitians, we are conditioned by default to this role of the victim. And I honestly think a lot of dietitians don't even recognize they are assuming this role and assuming this role so often. When I think about dietitians complaining, there are a handful of comments that come to mind. Things like, oh shit, insurance doesn't work for me. Or should I report this to the insurance commissioner? When I'm over here scratching my head, wondering what the violation was in the first place, because it sounds like to me, there was no issue in the first place. Another one, how am I supposed to be successful when there's three other dietitians in my town doing private practice, right? So I hear this shit all the time. And as a successful dietitian who has managed to be successful when no other dietitians were doing what I was doing a long fucking time ago, and as somebody who continues to crush it, meaning my model is sustainable as fuck and still relevant, I am getting sick and tired of dietitians complaining and assuming this victim mentality. And the reason why, and there is a silver lining, is you guys are capable of more. But if you continue to play this role, you will continue to play small and you will never have the practices that you want. So I want to take you guys through three truths, which I think are really important. And I'm hopeful by you guys understanding these truths and digesting them, it will make it easier when you find yourself complaining to remove yourself from that situation and go down a different road. So this is a really important one. And I think it's probably the most pivotal of the three I'm going to talk about today. So the game of business, the game of private practice, the game of being an insurance-based private practice is not a zero-sum game, meaning I do not need to lose in order for you to win. All dietitians can win, and they can win fucking big without dulling anybody's sparkle. So there are more than enough people who need our help. I am a hybrid practice, which means we see both telehealth and in person, and we see on average 500 plus patients per month. I live in Connecticut, and you guys probably couldn't find Connecticut on a map. My practice is in a town called Orange because I don't think in Connecticut, I don't even know if we really have cities, right? Based on the number of people that even live in these areas. And last time I checked, there are 7 to 8 other insurance-based dietitians in my town, 4 of which who have completed my insurance-based coaching program. And we all fucking crush it. We are all unique. Some of us do the same services, but our uniqueness, our style of counseling, how we choose to show up is all different. And on any given week, I am referring patients referred to my practice to other practices, right? So I do not need to win in order for all of these other dietitians in my town to lose, right? Like they don't have to lose. And so we need to start. I don't know if you need to tattoo it on your face, but collaboration over competition, right? I want you to have a crown and I want to have a crown. And if your crown starts to tip and it starts to go sideways, I am going to do my best to straighten it. So we have to stop going to battle against our own team, right? I do not need to lose in order for you to win. Faye, Berry Street, tech startups, they do not need to win and we do not need to lose. There are plenty of fucking people who need our help, right? And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this from a place of love. If you do not have the practice you want and the patients you want and the numbers you want to hit, it's not because of Faye, it's not because of Berry Street, and it's certainly not because of GLPs, right? It's because you have not done the work you need to do to have the practice you want. You get the practice you tolerate, not the one that you talk about, not the one you dream about. You need to start taking action if you do not have the practice that you want. And stop complaining about tech companies stealing your business. Because we used to do this with health coaches, right? Before we had big tech, right? So if you don't have what you want in your business, it's because you have not done the shit you need to do to make it happen. And I know this, right? Because I have seen a lot of the services you guys offer, and I have seen the scarcity mindset that you guys show up with. And we need to stop this bullshit right now. The game of business, private practice insurance is not a zero-sum game. Which leads me to my second point. For many of you, should is the root of all pain in your business, okay? And it will continue to be the root of all pain in your business until you shift your mindset and start taking action, okay? Some of the shoulds I hear on a regular basis. I should be busier. The academy should be doing more for me. The insurance company should teach me how to bill insurance. Private practice should be more straightforward. We should have been taught business in school, right? So I have seen Facebook posts with 100 plus comments regarding every single one of these topics. I am fascinated by how fucking smart dietitians are, but they will spend hours pissing and moaning and complaining about what they don't have rather than taking that time, energy, and mental bandwidth and having it work for them in their practices, right? Complaining about shit you don't have because you have not done the work is a time suck, because whether or not something should be different in reality is irrelevant, because the fact of the matter is it is not. The world rewards people who make courageous decisions, not by people who post anonymously, not by people who attack other people for opinions, thoughts, and judgments, because talk is super fucking cheap. And the only thing that is going to change these shoulds is action, okay? The goal of your business and private practice is to be successful. It is not to be right, okay? So all of these shoulds mean nothing. And so I want to use a very poignant example that is relevant and recent, just to give you an example of where we are going wrong with our complaining. Everybody loves to shit on the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And somebody recently said the Academy should be doing more with X, Y, and Z in updating us more on what's happening with telehealth. It's hard not to laugh in these situations, because while I may not agree with everything the Academy does or says or does, the reality is that they're doing a lot more than you guys know. And it's so funny because when this message was posted, literally like 6 hours, I had gotten an update as a member of the Academy with all of the updates and information of what was going on. So if you are not a member of the Academy and you choose to shit on them, You are ignorant of the actions that they are taking. And I'm not judging you because you are not a member of the academy, but it gives you no right to complain about what somebody else isn't doing, because number one, they are doing a lot of things that you guys are not aware of. But the reality is, like, you guys want something for free, right? You want the information from the academy, but you're not willing to do what it takes to advocate, right? You just rather take, right? And when I tell you takers will never win, I assure you of that. So if dietitians continue to blame everyone for what they don't have, whether it be information, whether it be the practice that they want, the skills they want, they will continue to get more of what they already have. And I'm going to say this, and I know this because I work with thousands of dietitians. You will continue to have a mediocre practice in which you trade dollars for hours of your time, right? Your inability to take action while complaining and blaming the shoulds of the world is not going to build your empire, right? And so we need to stop this. And we need to stop other dietitians when we see them doing this. And it is hilarious when people will tag me in these posts. I will not engage, right? Because the reality is, like, I respect myself and the decisions that I make. And I understand that every single aspect of my life, I am responsible for. So if there's something that I want that I don't have, I am responsible, not the academy, right? And so it's really important that we understand that, and we disengage and we correct people, right? I hate to be that person that's like in a whole pissing match and I'm like, hey, like, PS, like, you're fucking wrong. So, like, I don't even want to be in there because I feel like I am part of the problem. But the reality is that should is the root of all pain. So if you're going to like toss around should, then I can almost guarantee you that you will have a mediocre practice that does not light you up. And the third piece of this rant, our skills are built in the sock. I know as dietitians, many of us are perfectionists, and we struggle with uncertainty in our practice. But what I can tell you as somebody who has been doing this for 20 years, each time I level up, the uncertainty comes right back, right? And so it's like playing Nintendo or Zelda and beating the boss, right? And then you get to the next level and it's a whole new level of hard, right? So you want to know how I got really good at running a successful insurance-based practice? I sucked and fell in giant piles of shit for more years than I was successful. So I developed a higher tolerance for failure than I thought I ever could capably digest. I made every mistake in the book, sometimes not only once, but twice, sometimes even 3 times. But with every single rep, I got better. You see, all of these problems are opportunities for growth. Problems allow you to get better, right? So you need to stop thinking about when shit goes wrong in your practice, because it will go wrong, that this is a sign that you suck, that you need to stop, that you need to close up shop. Running a private practice is not binary. It's not like you pass or fail. It's that at every new level, there's a continuum of skills that are based on repetition, right? And unfortunately, like, there's nothing sexy about running a successful practice, but your business and your practice will be built in the sock. And it's okay and normal for you to suck. I think I sucked for the first decade. I know nobody wants to hear this, but it's like, but like most days I felt like a whack-a-mole, right? And I just kept on, it was just like, and I just kept on getting back up. So you will be tested when things get complicated. You will want to give up. You will be scared. And that is okay, right? The goal and the definition of bravery, right? It's like courage is when you're afraid, but you do the shit anyway, right? So the goal is to learn from your mistakes and move forward, right? We are not looking back. We are not beating ourselves up because we didn't do X, Y, and Z. Because, like I said, as you level up, every new step, every new level, there will be a new boss you need to beat. And there will be a new level of uncertainty, new dumpster fires full of shit for you to put out, new things of you to be scared of. But that is growth, right? The alternative is staying exactly where you are. And that is also okay. But many of you guys are not okay with that, right? So I just want to reiterate that I want to make sure that I am not confusing this with a vent session. What I am hoping to do by this video is I think a lot of us are just not self-aware. I don't think that we really realize that we play the role of the victim, that we let imperfect action take us from taking action, that we realize that when we are going to grow the most is probably when it's going to be most hard. So the game of business is not a zero-sum business, right? I do not need to lose in order for you to win. Okay. Collaboration over competition every day of the week. There is no reason why all of us can't win. No, you don't want to hear this, including the Fays, the Berry Streets, the tech startups, right? They are not the reason why you are not busy. GLPs are not the reason you guys are not busy, right? We have to look internally, right? And those shoulds, right? You should be busier. Well, the only way to change that is to take action, right? And a lot of times for many of us, there are bottlenecks in your business. Those are things that business coaches like I do. I help you work through those. And then lastly, skills are built in the suck, right? And so it is normal for business to feel hard, but it does not mean that you are incompetent. It just means there are uncertainties that you will continue to be exposed to while leveling up in your business. And so I am a huge fan of advocacy, right? So I spend a lot of time not only educating, but educating on a baseline level so I can see the change I want to see in the world, right? I fly all over the country speaking to dietetic students. I volunteer in my free time. I advocate in my free time. But what I do not do in my free time is I will not complain, because I have two choices as a business owner, right? I could complain and waste all of that time and energy, or I can take that time and energy and build the shit out of my empire, which is what I choose to do. So my only ask of you guys today is to share this video with somebody who you think could benefit from it. And like I mentioned at the top of the video, when you see people complaining about stupid shit, be part of the change you want to see. Okay. It is okay to live your life with radical candor where you are correcting inaccuracies because you do not want to be part of the problem. So share this video. And once again, I will continue to advocate my ass off. I will continue to put in the work for making our field better. And I understand there is a time and a place to complain. But the reality is, I think we are doing more complaining than we are empire building. So you guys know I love you. And I do what I do because of you. But we are better than the bullshit that we are putting out there. And we need to start acting that way. Peace.